I got an odd little story here this morning about how my dead nuts came back to life. So, last year, this tree right here had its first acorns. This is a bur oak, and I planted it, it's either 6 or 7 years ago. And I thought that was kind of a miracle because all of the literature that I read said it takes 25 to 30 years before they start producing acorns. So I visited the tree every day in the fall and picked up any of the acorns that fell, and I got a full Ziploc bag full of them, and then I brought them into the wood shop. So I had a bag full of nuts sitting in various places around the wood shop. It was on this shelf for a while, it was over there, all different places. I was letting them dry out a little bit, so I had the bag opened up, and I kind of put it on the back burner, and I was planning on shelling them, getting them out of their big husk at some point. And I finally did that in, I believe it was January. And when I started doing it, the shells were really thin, and almost all of them were cracking as I was trying to shell it. So I figured they were history, that they dried out too much, and I put them in 2 separate bags. One had mostly the shelled ones in it, one had the unshelled ones in it, and I put them right over here on this kind of to-do shelf, and I put a little bit of water in there to keep them moist, and I planned on revisiting them later. Then, yesterday, I was looking for something to work on the compressor, and I was looking right on top of this shelf. You could still see some of the dirt down here and right here. They were sitting right here. I'm looking on this shelf right here, and I notice that there was little trees sticking out of holes in the bag. Mice had bitten holes in the bag, but the trees were growing in there. Some of them weren't through the holes, but there was a couple trees sticking out of the bag. So I grabbed them up. This was almost dark last night. It was like twilight. I grabbed them up and brought them out here. All of the ones I found alive were in this bag. I went over to the run-in and grabbed some pots. I grabbed some dirt, and the light was really fading by then. I made up a dirt mix, and I potted all of the ones that were growing. This one right here is mostly root. If you've ever seen how oaks grow, they send out a root, and then the root splits open and the trunk comes out of that. They don't look really good, but they're alive, like this one. Getting a little bit of green there. I believe all of these are going to make it, but who knows? So I haven't gone through this yet. As I said, you could see some of these are shelled and some aren't. And then this is the bag. I haven't gone through this at all. I just opened it up. The ones that are in there had mold on them, and like that can still grow. So what I'm going to do is take one of these trays and put some soil on the whole bottom of it, and then just spread all these out on the top of it. That is how they grow. They'll be laying on the ground on their side, and they'll send a root out, and the root will go down, and then it'll split like that, and the little tree will go up, and the nut will be off to the side like that, and it'll slowly shrivel up, and then it'll just fall off. So, really good news. I have brand new spots for 4 trees down in the old vineyard, and I'll find a couple spots over here, but I also have 2 trees that were planted and possibly more. We'll go take a look real quick. I have at least 2 trees over in the south pasture from the planting 2 years ago. 2 that died, maybe more. We'll go take a look real quick, and then we'll come back and get that stuff into some dirt. I'll just keep it watered, and with any luck, we'll have a few more oaks. I really don't have any place for them, but I'll make room for any ones that we get going this year. And then in future years, I'll probably just sell the acorns. Kind of a Planet Mojo memento. All right, let's go look in this field here. This was part of that planting. I was calling this the rabbit ravaged oak. I'll put a link to the video, but this was girdled by the rabbits, not last winter, but the winter before that. So last spring, at about this time, this was completely girdled. I cut it off. It had a couple sprouts coming up. I left 1 sprout, and it got, let's see, about 6.5 feet tall last year, and it already has 8 to 10 inches on it, and it just started putting out leaves a little while ago. It's really wispy, but I'm gonna have to do something with that cage. I'll have to cage all of these as well, because they're gonna be really vulnerable. So that was one. This is another, and it is definitely alive. I don't know if that's bugs or if that's deer that are eating it like that. That's not good. Yeah, that's got to be deer. Damn. Well, we'll try spraying this with deer repellent. Yeah, the deer run runs right through here. It goes to that walnut right there. So they must be just stopping over and having a little snack. Okay, we got one there, and one along the road. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I believe that one right there and the one along the path are dead. And I believe both of these are alive, but let's go look. A deer was bedding down right here. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They come right through from the woods over there. They come right through here. A buck damaged that tree right there right before winter last year. And they go right down through here. Yikes. Yeah, this one's alive. Yeah, they're definitely having a bit of bug damage. Not doing really good. You could see that one looks like it's doing a little better. So I'm guessing there's only 2 that are dead here. So I'll replace those two and I can put two more in. And then this field is nearly full. You don't want to overcrowd them. We're making this into an oak savanna, so there should be grassland between the big trees. Yeah, not bad at all. But you could see where the deer bit it off last year. It was bitten off here as well. And here. That might not have been bitten. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get out here and spray these. It's really a pain in the butt to put cages around all of them. You have to look down at the base to make sure. See, now that's still kind of springy. I just found a bur oak in the west pasture that appeared to be dead for 2 years, and it now has a couple leaves down at the ground. So the root was alive that entire time, and that one might be alive. We had the same thing happen with one along the road here. It appeared to be dead, but it wasn't. Yeah, I probably should have gotten in here and trimmed. Well, I quit trimming when I thought they were dead, and that's the same thing I did with the other ones. And if they start growing up in that tall grass, at least the deer aren't going to get to them. Another deer bed. Okay, let's get back to the acorns. Okay, I'm going to put my soil in this slotted tray and then keep this in a non-slotted tray. That way I'll be able to get the soil real nice and soaked. But if it rains, I can lift it out of there. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, probably, but we were supposed to get, I think it was 0.3 inches of rain last night, and that was even iffy. If it rained, we were supposed to get about a 0.3, and we got an inch and a half. So the little trees were on a tray without holes, and the tray was completely filled with water this morning. It's not going to hurt it, but this way, when I'm adding water, I can add water, and as soon as it gets soaked, take it out. Okay, and this is the one and last night I pulled out all the ones. All you had to do was reach in there and feel around, and you could feel the roots, and that's how I was finding them. Some of them have like 8-inch long roots. All of them have long roots, long taproot, which is a good thing. Ooh, we got a grower here, I think. Nope. Yeah, these are definitely not. These are probably not going to grow. I'll just put these put these in a separate one, and we'll just let these sit around for the next couple weeks, and if nothing grows by then, I'll just dump it in the woods. If it grows there, it grows there, but I already have pretty much, well, I can use probably 4 or 5 more trees next year. Quickly go through this mess. Yeah, no signs of life. These all have the shell on, so, but they haven't been kept like moist enough to moisten up or soften up the shell, so maybe I think I'm going to lightly cover these. And again, this mold is not going to make much of a difference because all of the ones that are growing were a little bit moldy. Yeah, if I wouldn't have been looking for that part, these probably, well, they would have just shriveled up and died. They didn't have a huge amount of time left. They go on reserve. They have all that reserve in the nut, and that's what sustains them until they can collect some light and nutrients and stuff. So, good thing I was looking for that. If I do germinate any of these next year, if we do get acorns on the trees this year, now I know what to do. What I had heard, and this was from the scientific literature, it said that red oaks, and I know this to be true because I've grown red oaks before, they drop their acorns and then the seed needs to overwinter. And you'll find red oak acorns on the road that have a root like that big on it in the spring. You'll find it under the snow. But they said that white oak, when they drop, they immediately start to grow. So I thought they were going to start to grow in the bag. And maybe they would have. If I would have shelled them right away and put them on some dirt like this, they probably would have sprouted. So, I'm sure the literature was correct that these don't need stratification. Stratification is that cold period. They don't have to go through a winter in order to sprout because these never got cold. They went right into the shop. What I did wrong was leave them sit around in a bag for a long time. As soon as they dropped, I should have shelled them right away and did this to them, put them on some dirt. You can actually put them right on top of the dirt sideways and then like press them in about halfway. That is what I'm going to do next year. But like I said, I don't have a whole lot of room for new trees, so I'm gonna have to figure out exactly how many more trees I can handle and only grow that many. And then I think the rest of them, like I said, I'll just sell them to help support the channel if anybody wants to buy them. That remains to be seen. Yeah, I guess this looks the healthiest because it has a leaf there. This, it looks like the leaf dried out, but it's got something new growing there. This one again, this one has never split, so that one's probably going to do just fine. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because these tops kind of like dried out in the bag. Well, that one looks okay. This one looks not too good. It sent out several stems and they all dried out. Hopefully everything rehydrates and we'll have a few trees that were actually born on the property. That is really cool. I'll do an update on this probably in about a week, and I'll probably do it with a short and maybe a couple others, and then we'll do a video on planting these. As soon as these are in a little better shape, I got to get these planted because they have a pretty good sized root. So yeah, this is so cool. So if you want to see those videos, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.